Hi there, folks. This will be more potential spoilers and rumors on the new Resident Evil 8 game. So, according to rumors in the opening, according to our source, the opening sequence is the same as the beginning of the trailer. Mia reading a story to her daughter. According to the source, it was in a storybook format with Mia's narration that we previously discussed, but was a rough and still much a work in progress. So now we have more information. Says here, Ethan arrives as Mia is finishing reading the story to her daughter, who goes by the name of Rose. As quite jazzy sounding tune plays in the background, Ethan can walk around the house and find notes scattered about, more than likely for the player to get the feel for and control. So very much like the beginning Resident Evil 3. Interestingly, some of the notes that you find scattered around the house include that Ethan, Mia and Rose are all free and clear of the ear virus. So that's what the mold was called. Rose weighed 14 pounds at birth. That's definitely a big baby. Definitely a suspicious weight, especially if she's all clear of any virus, and that Ethan has spent at least some time training with Chris for the events. So after the events of Resident Evil 7, so Ethan's had, I would say, military training of some fashion. Also to note, bobbleheads are making a return in Resident Evil Village, as our source made the claim that the ticking noise that made in the last 3 releases can be heard in the same style as 7 can be found on the bookshelf upstairs. After you're done a little bit of exploring the first floor of the house, you can take the child from me and put her to bed. Ethan walks upstairs to the dark second level to the baby's room and places Rose in her crib. He returns downstairs to Mia cooking something in the pot on the stove with her back turned towards him. At some point, the faint sound of European emergency vehicle sirens can be heard, also hinting to the fact that the Winters have seemingly relocated to Europe in Resident Evil Village. At this point, our source says the mood and feel of the game definitely felt like it was shifting, and he have expected to see Mia transform as we saw in Resident Evil 7. So the attack by Chris Redfield and his ninjas. Ethan tries conversating with Mia while she kicks about the events that happened in Louisiana, and Mia's demeanour towards him turned cold as she shows little interest in discussing the situation. At some point in the exchange, the windows shatter and bullets fly in the kitchen, hitting Mia and dropping her to the floor, but not killing her. A scene shifts to Chris entering the house with 2 masked henchmen, and as the secure secure the interior of the house, and Chris walks up to Ethan and Mia, delivers his "sorry Ethan" line, and proceeds to finish off Mia. Now, interesting note from the source, he says that Ethan responds with "what the hell, Chris" instead of "why" in the trailer, so we could be seeing a change. So, leading into the village, the next series of events seemed to also still be contemplating stages in the playtest, but after the assault on the Winter's home, Chris takes the baby and Ethan and is loaded into a vehicle. At some point during the drive, the vehicle crashes and Ethan comes to after the wreck and climbs out of the vehicle and finds a broken cell phone and makes a comment of needing to find a cell phone to help find which were previously heard. Ethan leaves the car wreck and starts along the dark path into the woods, which is a sequence we can see in the trailer. Our source said you come to the first cabin and set the tone of architectural to expect the rest of the village. So the first cabin is to signify what the rest of the village is meant to look like, though there is nothing to interact with the first location. Continuing on, you can start to see the village as the sun begins to rise. You walk down a slight slope to enter the village, and multiple cabins can be seen and dead animals can be scattered about. So you can see the dead horse, so that gives you the setting for what this village is. So next we have the cabin attack. The next sequence makes up a good idea of the village from the trailer and is the most interactive part of the playtest. Ethan enters another cabin to find an old man hiding behind the curtain, and is hurriedly explained that something is coming and hands Ethan a pistol. Ethan then realizes that the handgun is unloaded, and before he can look for ammunition, huge arm smashes through the ceiling and the old man is torn through the ceiling. Seconds later, floorboards underneath Ethan are shattered, as another arm reaches up and drags him through the floor. Ethan is then in a fight for his life as the enemies around him. The beastmen try to attack. At this point, the player can find a shotgun, presumably the one that the old man has dropped, and he gets pistol and shotgun ammo. So it doesn't explain why Ethan is shot at the beginning, and he just doesn't react to it, which is mind blowing to me. Next bit of badge is admittedly a blur. We have gathered that there's no way to play out this cabin sequence. There's no one way to okay. There's a furniture marked with a yellow tape, a common thing in RE Engine games to denote interactive environmental objects that can be used to block enemies pursuing you, and barricades that can be made. So very like Resident Evil 2 and 3 with the barricades. The beastmen deal massive damage but can be taken down for well placed headshots from the shotgun, and enemies can attack from various weapons and tools as reported previously. Their attack pattern is very wolf pack like, as they will surround the perimeter. They have rotten appearance previously spoke on. The segment also appears to be semi non-linear, as the player is given an option to avoid enemies, and there is a part where you can sneak past the beastman eating a villager, and the player can escape using a ladder that leads out of a window. Our source also notes that you need to move quickly as possible to escape, as there is not enough ammo lying around to actually confront these threats. Running away is the only choice. There's also note that the beastmen did not have all their final assets rendered and appeared less hairy than the ones in the trailer. So meeting the so-called Gorilla Man. Once outside, the player is met by a hammer axe carrying behemoth, and that some of the alleged testers have dubbed the Gorilla Man. The creature not only seems to be sort of a mini boss, but actually seems to have some control over these beastmen after he jumps off the roof and comes up to Ethan, giving the player a clear look at and seems to give Ethan a once over before calling him to the beastman attack. Another thing that is said is that the creature on horseback carrying an impaled man in a suit on a spear, which I find very interesting. And during the frame investigation of the trailer to get screenshots for this article, found somewhat a split second easy to miss, but there's probably no way to mention this before. In the right hand of the frame, a little brightness adjusting, you can see a man impaled on a spear. A closer further look into the corner, and you can see a creature carrying said spear, and even closer look into the bottom right corner, you can see the horse's head and its ears. So this information alone makes believe that it could be the most legitimate piece of the playtest. So there you go. You can see there as the original, there's just very dark, and there's a brightened image. You can see the horse there, and I believe that's the man there. After the attack is called off and Ethan makes his escape, he then finally meets up with the old woman in road from the trailer, and that is now believed to be the merchant character. And she tells Ethan something on the fact that they'll be seeing a lot of each other. It appears at the end of the player portion of the demo, at the end of the cutscene, that show the group of villagers hiding in the building as one of them turns into a beastman. Now, this is probably the most intriguing bit of the Resident Evil info, because if true, it never means that the villagers can possibly be infected with whatever bioweapon they could be, but give credit to the rumours that could be hallucinations, which could end up being worse and you might end up being harmed than unaffected. So, seems to be most of it there. Let's read this bit. Other Resident Evil details. When it comes to inventory, the source did agree to all the specific details that others had said, and the inventory system that we saw in the developer special was accurate. They did also concur that the circle areas seen under a weapon are indeed upgrades and attachments. They also mentioned that when they found the weapon was highlighted in the inventory, that there was an upgrade path like layout that included a weapon stats. Also, a pause menu contained a photo mode option, though it might be more testing or for testing purposes. This is all exciting information to see, and really feel that this might be the most detailed and reliable look at the ambassador testing. Hopefully we'll see more Resident Evil Village this Thursday, which is today when I'm recording this. But if not, we know more information is coming this month, and always we'll be watching. So everyone to keep up to date. So there you go, folks. There's more rumours and speculation. So well, I could be rain, we could be potential spoilers, but we'll see what happens here in the future.